Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. You know, Tony Harrison is a former IBF super welterweight champ. He defeated Jamel Charlo in 2018. He won a unanimous decision, 12-round decision, to hand Charlo his first defeat. And then the following year, 2019, he got stopped in the 11th round in the rematch, lost the belt. And then from then on in, his career has been sort of up and down. He got a draw with Brian Perella. That was a split draw. Then he beat Sergio Garcia, who was had 33 wins and 1 defeat, beat him on a unanimous decision. Then he got stopped by Tim Tszyu in a fight that, if I remember rightly, was kind of cancelled a couple of times, but he got stopped in the 9th round. And the 9th round is kind of a curse for Tony Harrison, because earlier on in his career, 2015, Willie Nelson stopped him in 9, and there was another 9-rounder, another occasion when he was stopped in 9 rounds. I think it was Jarrett Hurd. Again, these are all super welterweight fights. Well, after the Tszyu fight, he took over 2 years off. The Tszyu fight was in March of 2023. And Harrison decided to make a comeback, and he fought a guy called Edward Diaz. Now, he's 34 years old now, Harrison, so you could sort of forgive him with that, and also the fact that he's been out for a long time. He took what was perceived to be a soft touch. Edward Diaz has 15 wins with 12 KOs, so he's got a bit of pop. But he also came in with 6 defeats, 5 of which were by stoppage. He's from the Dominican Republic. He's the same age as Harrison, 34. So you're thinking, well, Harrison should get this guy out of there. The thing is with Harrison is he's a bit chinny. He's got a little bit of a brittle chin. And, I mean, to be honest with you, when the fight started, Diaz, even though he's got 12 KOs and 15 wins, he looked like he was at least fighting 2 weight divisions above his natural weight. When I went and had a look at his box record, I was seeing, super featherweight, lightweight, light welterweight weights for some of his fights. And he looked it as well. He was very thick around the middle. He's protruding, not a belly. It wasn't that he looked kind of difficult to describe. He didn't have like a big gut hanging over his belt, but he was just thick in the middle, and you thought, this guy doesn't belong in this weight division. This should be an easy run around for Harrison. But Diaz was very, very aggressive. And when you consider that Harrison has a questionable chin, all 4 of his defeats have been by stoppage. He's got a draw to Perello, 30 wins, 21 or 29 wins coming in. 21 KOs, I think it is. You were thinking, well, he's a bit chinny, and if the aggression from Diaz, if this connects, there's going to be some, it's going to have an effect, surely. Well, for most of the fight, this was a 10-rounder, by the way, Harrison boxed really well, very well indeed. He's got quite a wide stance. Diaz was coming in with a high guard, but Harrison was regularly splitting it with some nice, sharp, straight punches. Good combinations. In the 4th round and the 6th round, those 2 rounds, it was noticeable that Diaz sort of threw caution to the wind and stormed in. He's much the shorter man. He was about 5 or 6 inches short. I think Harrison's about 6'1". So again, you can tell that he was the smaller man in terms of natural weight. But he was throwing these huge hooks, salvos of them. I think it was the 4th round. Harrison was on the ropes and looked a little bit uncomfortable, just a little bit uncomfortable, trying to ride and slip and slide the punches coming in. But you felt if Diaz, does let it all hang out and he catches Harrison, there's going to be some sort of crisis for Harrison. Now, bearing in mind that 9th round is his curse round. In the 9th round, you're thinking, oh, he's boxing well, it's nice and sensible, and lovely. He's an orthodox fighter. He switch hits a little bit. He's controlling Diaz's aggression. He's leaving him on the end of the jab. His footwork's much better. Diaz is sort of trying to get close, trying to wing huge hooks when he can't get close from the outside. The only thing that Harrison doesn't want to do is stand and fight. And right at the end of the 9th round, what did Harrison do? He stood and fought. In comes Diaz, gets in close. Diaz fires a salvo of these, I think it was maybe 3 of these big wide hooks. And was it the left hook? I can't even remember which one it was. But one of them lands slap bang on the jaw of Harrison. And it was a punch that would have knocked most men out. Harrison hits the floor. This is right at the death of the 9th round. That 9th round is... I'm sure there's some sort of voodoo gone on here. He's from Detroit, Michigan, Harrison, not from Louisiana. So maybe it's not voodoo, but it's certainly bad luck. And Harrison hits the floor. And like I say, there are a lot of fighters wouldn't have got up because that was absolutely bang on the jaw. Boom, right on the jaw. Harrison got up. And to be honest with you, during that minute's rest, he looked okay. He looked okay, considering it's such a full-blooded bullseye punch. And then the last round, it was just war. There was just a big war going on. So for all of this time, all of this fight, for 8.5, nearly 9 rounds, it was more or less one-way traffic for Harrison. But in the last round, the crowd were on their feet. There were huge punches from both guys going on. Diaz jumped all over Harrison, tried to get him out of there in the first minute. Harrison's on the ropes, again, slipping and sliding. Doing well, defensively, he's not too bad. Gradually, he worked his way back into the round and landed his own good punches. He'd been landing big punches, clean punches, sharp punches throughout the fight, but he hadn't really hurt Diaz at any point. He did sting him to the body a bit in some of the early to mid rounds. But then the bodywork went out the window. But in that last round, it was I'll hit me, you hit, I'll hit you, you hit me sort of thing. And it was a brilliant round, just a fantastic round. Well, it finished, and Harrison won a unanimous decision. I had it 97. What would it be? 97, 92, I think it was, for Harrison. Which I've got a feeling one or two of the judges had it, if not the same, then very similar. But again, those later rounds, they're a nightmare for Harrison. He always gets, all 4 of his defeats have been in the 9th round, 3 in the 9th round and 1 in the 11th round. And had this been a 12th round, it would have been very interesting to see if Diaz could have pulled off the upset. Very interesting indeed. So I don't know whether Harrison has got one more title fight left. He probably has. He'll probably get work. He's a name. He's a former champion. But yeah, I'm kind of. You do worry about him. He's a nice, slick, sharp boxer. Very, very, very good skills. But when you tag him, he can get hurt, and he also seems to go to sleep a little bit. Which means he finds himself momentarily, up close and personal, and he's not protecting his chin as much as he could or should. And, because he does have that questionable chin, the opponents will let their hands go and think, if I can catch him, I can get him out of here. Well, Diaz almost did, but not quite. But a good fight, some good skills on display from Harrison, and a right old grandstand finish. Very enjoyable. Harrison would have to be navigated very, very carefully to pick up another world belt. But you never know. Could happen. Anyway, what did you think of the fight? Did you see it? Leave your comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. And let me know what you think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And bye for now.